All right, welcome back in. Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey, 17 after the hour, 4:17 as we're outside of Arm & Hammer Park, and we broadcast back to the Princeton Orthopedic Associate Studios. My favorite broadcaster of the Trenton Thunder is here, and that's Jon Mozes, who joins us right now. John, I think you are a little bit shocked that I just said you're my favorite broadcaster.
I think your entire audience is shocked.
Well,
Zach.
I love Adam, and we have Adam on a lot usually when he comes here. But Adam never brings me any treats. And today, my lovely staff didn't bring me a tent or anything, so I'm schwitzing right now as I have sweat pouring off my head and my legs, everything. It's an ugly sight. But if you want to come down and see it, more the power to you. But you brought me a nice cold bottle of water. Some high-quality H2O.
Are you saying you sweat in weird places?
Yeah, I guess so. Soon we'll be having some Swamp Ass live on the Zach Gelb Show. If you want to wipe that later, that's fine with me. So great to see you. How you been?
Great, man.
Okay.
Really good. Yeah.
So we got a big game tonight. You got Trenton up against New Hampshire. And the Yankees, they've been making a big move this week, and that was David Robertson, bringing him back, Kamley, and also Frazier. Just your reaction to what the big ball club did up in New York.
Well, obviously a great move for them to get two ace relief arms. I mean, you look at how Kansas City built their World Series teams in 14 and 15. It was on the strength of a really, really good bullpen. And I think the Yankees are sort of shooting for that, with Chapman and Dellin Betances, and to bring back a couple of former Thunder and Tommy Kahnle and David Robertson, who were both excellent when they were here. Kahnle was the closer for the Thunder in 2013 when they won the Eastern League Championship. And Robertson had a piece in the team in 2007 and 2008 when the Thunder won back-to-back titles. So to see those two guys come back, obviously really exciting around here. And look, Todd Frazier can absolutely help. I mean, he's a Yankees fan. He's a local guy, grew up in Toms River. Heck, I remember watching him in the Little League World Series. So it must be a real thrill for him to come and play in New York under the biggest and brightest lights that baseball offers. So, look, I think it's a great deal. But at the same time, it hurts us. We lost Tito Polo, who's a really good outfielder. He can really run, and he was playing really well. He just got to us maybe a week or two before the trade. They lost some pretty good talent. Blake Rutherford, their first-round pick. Ian Clarkin was drafted the same year as Aaron Judge, a few picks around him. So they obviously sent away good players. But, look, the point is to win the whole thing. So that's what they're shooting for. And
what they did, and I understand they give away Rutherford, but it's a crowded outfield up in New York right now, and Clint Frazier could be getting sent down, according to Brian Cashman, when Aaron Hicks does return. So that doesn't really annoy me. I don't think they really mortgaged the future that much, and I think they did a nice job on this trade. They weren't super aggressive, but they made a trade that does put them in a position, like you were saying, to condense the game, which is a big thing, especially when your starting rotation isn't that good and you don't have Michael Pineda anymore.
Well, they've got a couple. I mean, Luis Severino's performance last night was excellent, right? And look, Masahiro Tanaka, you've seen it from him before. You know how good he is. CC Sabathia's having a great year at age 37. But you don't know sort of what you're going to get from two or three guys in that rotation. You're sort of flipping a coin. And you're relying on kids. They set it up that way with Luis Severino, and Jordan Montgomery's been terrific for them. They've gotten about as much as they could have ever expected from a real rookie. So, at the same time, I think it's the right strategy. Starting pitching, the price for a starting pitcher versus two ace relievers is probably significantly different. I mean, I'm sure they're in on Sonny Gray, but who knows if that happens. I mean, I'm sure he's going to bring some really tough prospects to give away if you make that move. So, I mean, I understand the strategy, and I think it's a good one to go with given the setup of the roster.
I'll throw out three names. I know this is a lot of fun speculation as we're talking to a sweaty Jon Mozes right now on the Zach Gelb Show. You look at maybe a Justin Verlander. I don't think they're going to go there. I know the Red Sox may be in on Yu Darvish. I still don't think the Yankees are going to go there. Jason Vargas, you also have to probably give up a lot. I think they're going to stay pretty much patient until the trade deadline comes. Maybe they'll bring in a first baseman because that's a buyer's market. But overall, I don't expect the Yankees to do a whole lot much moving forward.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure there is much more for them out there that sort of makes sense for them. I mean, you've heard Cashman's quote, he's going to be a careful buyer. And I think that deal with the White Sox is a really good example of that, where he is not mortgaged the future. He hasn't given away anybody that's really close to the big league club. I mean, as much as the team loved Blake Rutherford, he's still 2 or 3 years away from being in the conversation for the major league roster. Similar story with Ian Clark, and he's probably a full year at least away from being in the picture for the big league club. So it's a short term in some view where you get Frazier just to the end of the year, Robertson through the end of next year. I mean, Canely having team control of him through 2021 is really nice. So, I'm not sure there's a big move that's on the way. I don't think there is. It just doesn't seem like that's in the cards for them.
Will the Yankees be in October baseball? Will they be in the playoffs?
I think so. I mean, I think they continue to get better every time they go out there. I just think they've got a really good bullpen. They've got some real talented guys in that lineup as well. Gary Sanchez. I mean,
it's the bobblehead night, by the way.
Well,
Gary Sanchez bobblehead, the great Jon Mozes who reads the promos. You have a deep voice when you put the announcer voice on.
No, I normally have a deep voice. That's true. So, look, it's exciting to honor Gary tonight. Bobblehead presented by Hyundai, first 2,000 fans, ages 14 and up. So the first of 3 bobbleheads this year. Do you know what the second one we're doing is?
Give me a hint. Are they
He's
on the
legendary.
big league club right now?
He's legendary.
Reggie Jackson,
Derby, dual bobblehead.
Ooh.
So there's this great picture.
He was on our show a few weeks ago.
Oh, was he really?
Jackson.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Great guy. And we see him here because he's a special advisor for the team. So he'll come through the clubhouse. We'll see him pop up in the dugout. But there's this great picture that we have of Reggie kneeling down, Derby underneath his arm. They're posed on the field together. So that is the bobblehead we're going to give away with Reggie's head bobbling. And that's going to be pretty cool. That's August 4th, Friday night, August 4th, when the Altoona Curve are in town.
But I hear the big star right now is Rookie. Rookie had a big show on the AAA level.
Yeah. Look, it's hard.
Running at the pitcher.
Well, it's a little bit of a different setup in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. So their home dugout's on the third base side.
They weren't ready for the big league stage yet.
Well, for Rookie, there were a couple of things that were different from his experience here in Trenton. He's not going through the same hallways to get out to the field. It's not the same views of the field. Seriously, coming out from the third base side versus the first base side. And then I'm sure if you watch the video closely, you see when he gets released by Jeff Hurley, our general manager.
Oh, so it was Jeff's fault.
No, it was the umpire's fault, who at the same time that Rookie got released, he was throwing a baseball back to the mound. So the golden retriever that he is, Rookie sees a flying baseball and says, I want it, and goes chasing after the baseball because, short attention spans, golden retrievers, it happens.
Do you know the origins of the dog being the bat dog here at the Thunder? Is there some story?
There is.
Enlighten us, please.
So I want to say roughly 2001, 2002, there was a traveling showcase, Jake the Diamond Dog, and Jake still performs to this day, or descendants of Jake the Diamond Dog. So we had Jake for, we brought him in for a weekend, traveling promotion that minor league teams use, and our fans fell in love. They said, oh my God, a golden retriever, this is great, we love it. So we said, why don't we do this every game? So we got a descendant of Jake the Diamond Dog, our first bat dog, Chase that Golden Thunder. And Chase performed bat dog duties up until about 2011 or so. His son Derby was born in 2008, and Derby's our current bat dog. And it's really a family business because Derby's son Rookie is now the star that we're all seeing all over the place.
Is that a well-paying job, by the way? Do you guys compensate the dog enough?
It is a rough life, I'll say that.
A lot of AC in the office, probably some filet mignons that Jon Mozes, who joins us right now, cooks up. So let's talk a little bit about the Thunder. 4 straight. They have an 11.5-game lead. You guys are in cruise control, even though the manager and you guys won't say it, but you're 65-31. It's unbelievable, especially with all the moving pieces that you've had this year. How about the team that you broadcast every night?
I mean, it's a real thrill. I mean, every time a good player goes up to AAA or goes up to the big leagues, like we saw with Ronald Herrera a couple weeks back, we seem to get a really good player in his place. Getting somebody like Jorge Mateo when you've lost somebody like Gleyber Torres is pretty astounding. Not every organization has the type of talent that New York does waiting in high A or single A or in the upcoming draft class. So it's really been amazing. I mean, the pitching's just been outstanding all year long. I mean, Domingo Herman was terrific for us before he went up, and he's been in the big leagues this year. We've lost Chance Adams, Justice Sheffield on the disabled list with an oblique injury right now.
He's a big listener to the show, was listening to the show. He purposely came out to check his cell phone and listened to the show earlier. I saw that right at 4 o'clock. Me and Justice are tight these days.
I heard. But to lose Ronald Herrera, to lose Chance Adams, to lose Sheffield, to lose Domingo Herman, to lose Gleyber Torres, to lose Jake Cave, the list goes on. We lose really good players, and we get really good ones in their place. So it's really exciting. I mean, every day you come to the ballpark and you say, wow, there are really talented guys suiting up for the team tonight, and that's exciting to be around.
We're talking to Philly's own Jon Mozes right now on the Zach Gelb Show outside of Arm & Hammer Park as we broadcast back to the Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios. Let's talk about some of the teams that you grew up rooting for in their current state right now. Kyrie Irving, he requested a trade from the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's all this speculation now that LeBron James could be leaving, which that's been all week. You've seen all the social media posts. And if he does leave, I don't think it's crazy, if everything goes right for the Sixers this year, that maybe LeBron will want to join the Sixers. How about that, Jon Mozes?
I love it. I love it.
TTP,
Come
right?
on, man. That'd be awesome.
It would be great.
That would be awesome.
And I look at it, and a few weeks ago, like last week we were talking about it, and I say, crazy, like 5% chance. But then I gave it some more thought. Okay, big if. If Joel Embiid stays healthy this year, that's a major plus. If Simmons and also Fultz are as good as advertised this year, that's another plus. Then if you have, which is very likely, the Cavs lose to the Warriors again, maybe LeBron says, I want to go elsewhere. Is he going to go to the West Coast? Maybe he wants to go to L.A. Maybe he wants to go out to the Western Conference with the Spurs and the Rockets. But then you have to play up against the Golden State Warriors in direct competition. Why not just make it easier on yourself, stay in the East, and join the Philadelphia 76ers?
I mean, the best team in the Eastern Conference every year has been LeBron James.
Yeah.
And really, it's been that way since, his third full year when he carried that really bad Cavs team to the finals and got swept by the Spurs. Look, if I were him, I would consider that. I mean, you play with a couple of other generational talents in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, and sure, I mean, people out there saying, oh, we don't know what they are, but come on, watch the games. Watch these guys play. They are really freaking good. So, look, I would do that. Why not? What do you have to lose? Sign a 2-year deal? Whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree. And people that don't want LeBron James, oh, this isn't the right way to do the process, I think you're crazy.
Who cares? The whole point of the process
is to win.
Was to give you opportunities to get generational talents. And it's worked. You have 2 players, and you could really argue 3, depending on how you fall with on Markelle Fultz. But then you could add a 4th guy, because look at how this game has turned, really since the Boston Celtics made that big deal for Kevin Garnett, where they put Paul Pierce together, and then Ray Allen's like, yeah, I want to join that. Now I'll agree to that trade, and we'll make a super team. It'll be great. And then it led to the Miami Heat. Then it led to the Golden State Warriors. So that is the trend in the league, is that you play with multiple really good guys to give yourself the best chance to win.
What do you expect out of the Sixers this year?
They're going to make the playoffs.
I agree with you. I think they could be a 6 seed, 5 seed, maybe.
You know,
I'd say a 6 right now, just because, and people may look at that from an optics, oh, that's very high, and then be like, oh, Zach must be drinking the Kool-Aid, which I am drinking the Kool-Aid right now. I'll be the first one to admit it. But the Eastern Conference is putrid. It's stinks.
Terrible. It's brutal.
We can make the playoffs in the East.
Yeah, why not? I mean, look.
We're better than the Knicks. We're better than the Nets.
I think what's going to happen is that the team will have probably a 2-month period of growing pains. Like the first 6 to 10 weeks of the season, they're going to have to figure it out, because they're going to be playing a rookie point guard. They're going to be playing a rookie wing who's going to do a lot of ball handling. They're going to be playing a second-year big guy who's played 31 NBA games.
Who needs to stay healthy.
You've got a lot of youth, so it's going to take some time for them to figure it out. There's going to be that awkward period of, is it my turn? Is it your turn? How do we run this set? Okay, end of the game. Who gets the shot? I think there's going to be
Redick.
Right. Is it J.J. Redick? Is it Robert Covington? Is it whatever? So I think there's going to be probably a 2-month period where they're not going to have the results, but it's going to be exciting to watch them. And then I think when we all take stock of it a week or 2 before the postseason, and we put all of the teams in our minds, and we look at them and we say, okay, Cavs are the best team in the league. Celtics are really good. They're probably in the East Finals. And then it's probably Philadelphia, based on their talent level and who is still there. I mean, look, it's moot if Joel Embiid plays 25 games again and then is out for the rest of the year. Or if Robert Covington gets hurt, or if Redick gets, injuries is a really big thing for this group, because you've seen it. I mean, it's been really hard.
Question.
But I think, assuming all 3 of those guys are healthy and the rest of the roster is healthy enough, they're probably the 3rd best team in terms of talent in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, right now I would say just the teams – I don't disagree with your point, because when you look at the potential talent, I agree with that. But I think the Bucks will be better than them this year. I think the Raptors will be better than them this year, just in terms of wins, because they're going to still have to manage the minutes of Embiid still, too.
Right, and I think, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes down to playoff seeding and regular season records, yeah, the top 4 is probably going to be Milwaukee, Boston, Cleveland, and Toronto.
Wizards.
And then Washington will probably be 5. Okay, so that's your top 5 in some relative order. So that's why Philadelphia's probably going to end up in like the 6 or 7 seed. But you're probably looking at like the third best talent team in the league.
All right, let me end you on this. Let's talk a little Eagles with training camp opening up on Monday. Eagles, how many wins you give them? What's your expectation going into this year?
I don't really know. I mean,
over, under 8.5.
Over.
Really?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Is it over like 10 or 11 or over 9?
It's probably 9 or 10 for me.
I think they're an 8-win team this year. Maybe
I disagree.
9.
I mean, I think they've actually done something to improve their talent level at skill positions,
Agreed.
which was a huge problem for them last year. I mean, Wentz literally had nobody to throw to, and you replace him with 2 veteran wide receivers. That gives you an opportunity, and then who knows? Maybe Nelson Aguilar becomes a guy.
Stop it! Do not mention
Look,
Nelson
you don't know
Aguilar's
that. What do
name
you
on
know?
this show.
What's wrong with it?
He stinks.
Okay.
He's terrible.
He had 2 terrible years as a pro.
You ever see the movie The Replacements?
Of course I've seen the movie.
You know when they tell him to do something to the elephant and put it on his hands? That's what Nelson Aguilar needs to do. He needs to catch the football. He's terrible.
Look, I'm saying it's not out of the realm of possibility that he becomes a serviceable wide receiver. The guy can run routes. He's got some speed. Yes, he's going to drop footballs. Yes, Jordan Matthews.
Do you and my intern Adam hang out? Adam thinks he's going for 500 yards this year, Nelson Aguilar.
That's like 40 yards a game,
it's
dude.
Not happening.
That's
He stinks. He stinks. Nelson Aguilar is overrated. He's a bust. He stinks. Let's stop holding out hope for Nelson Aguilar.
I'm not holding out any hope for him, but I'm saying it is within the realm of possibility that he becomes serviceable and useful to that offense. Look, if he's your 4th wide receiver, can you do a lot worse?
Right now, what you're drinking in front of
it's just water. I swear.
Here's my biggest concerns, though, being serious with the Eagles. The secondary is a massive concern when you look at this division, when you have to go up against Dez Bryant, Odell, Brandon Marshall, Terrell Pryor, Sterling Shepard. The secondary is a big concern. I know the defensive line is good. I don't think the defensive line is great. So it will help you, but I don't think it's going to be the end-all, be-all. Then number 2, I really do believe that people are overrating this offensive line. Pro Football Focus had them as the number 1 offensive line. The 2 big concerns, and I do like the right side of the offensive line. Lane Johnson back. Brandon Brooks is an exceptional player. He showed you that last year. Kelsey concerns me with his undersized figure. And then also Jason Peters. He made it through last year. No one thought he was going to make it through last year. So I just feel like the odds are in the favor right now of Father Time catching up to Jason Peters. He'll still be good, but I don't think he's going to be a someone that is going to be great this year. And that concerns me.
Yeah, I see that. And look, I mean, they love Jalen Mills at corner. They think he's a CB1. I mean, it's that
But
simple.
Is he ready to be a CB1 now?
Probably not. Guy was
I
drafted
think they're
in the
moving in the
7th
right
round for a
direction.
reason.
I think they're moving in the right direction.
Sure.
I think the offense is going to be fun to watch this year with Wentz throwing to Alshon Jeffrey and Jordan Matthews and Torrey Smith and not having to think of Nelson Aguilar as the number 1 target. I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. I like the LeGarrette Blount addition. I like bringing in Pumphrey. I love that Darren Sproles is still on this team. What will Wendell Smallwood do? I think there's excitement here, but I don't think they're ready yet to be a 10 or 11 win team. I could see the argument for 10. I could see the argument for 9. I could also see the argument for 8.
I just think this offensive line is actually good.
Okay.
And look, if Father Time does catch up with Jason Peters, if he does get hurt, you have your left tackle in house already. You just bump Lane Johnson over there.
Sure.
And Halapuli Vaitai.
Very
played,
nice in the name.
8 games last year,
Yeah.
so he's got enough experience. It's
Played
not
well.
like you're just throwing him into nothing like you were last year.
Good
You're
point.
just throwing him into the wall. And look, if left guard is a problem again, you have Isaac Seumalo behind there. I think there's a little bit of depth.
There's
sure.
some depth.
And there are
question.
guys that have been thrown into the fire before. I was shocked that Steven Wisniewski resigned. I figured he would go for a starting job
Alan
somewhere
Barbre,
else.
too?
Yeah, he stinks. But at the same time, I mean, you've got 2 other guys
They have
that you
depth.
can plug to that spot, and they've got enough, I think, that they could weather a Jason Peters injury. Now, whether they can weather a serious regression by Jason Peters is a much different conversation.
One more thing. Also, the coach in crucial decisions, he scares me. And he also scares me when the other day he says that this team has more talent than the Packers teams that he played on that went to back-to-back Super Bowls and also won a Super Bowl. The coach, a big question mark on the coach going into this year.
Yeah, those comments were weird. I guess it was
dumb.
basically just for people like you to talk about in July. But
But
I mean,
hold on. I enjoy those comments because they give us conversation in July, like you're saying. But if I was his PR person, I would just tell him, hey, Doug, all you have to say is, We're working to be a great team this year. Great teams take it one day at a time. That's all you have to do to answer the question.
Yeah, but, I don't know.
He needs a babysitter sometimes, though.
I don't think well, he's also a first-time head coach, which I think is something that you have to consider, especially when you look at some of the in-game decisions that he made last year. And look, I mean, I'm sure you were killing him on his show the next day after a couple of those games. And heck, I mean, half the city was. But, I don't feel that. I don't feel nervous about Doug Peterson as my head coach. I honestly feel solid about it.
What do you like that he does well? I asked this question. Anyone that's a Doug Peterson supporter, I asked them this question, and I have not heard a good response other than, well, he prepares the players the right way, which is the most generic thing I've ever heard.
I like his aggressiveness on fourth down. I think to a certain degree NFL coaches are way too conservative on fourth down. And I think you have to tip your cap to Chip Kelly for sort of opening their eyes to that, because his first and second year, he was going on fourth down all the time. He was saying, you know what, we just got to do it. Like, it makes sense for us to go for it on fourth down more often. So I like that. The opportunity for him, I mean, building what he had with last year, he didn't have a whole lot to work with offensively.
Got off to a good start last year.
Right, and, and part of that has to do with the fact that he prepared his starting quarterback really well on a short term with Carson Wentz taking over that starting job in, a week before opening day? That's when the Bradford trade went down. So I think you have to give him credit for that and for having the team ready to play those first 3 weeks. Now, the schedule worked out the way it did, and it was unfortunate they had a bye week there, but because I think that really hurts. I think that really hurt them in the grand scheme of the season. But I don't feel down on Peterson the way that a lot of people want to feel. I mean, he's been there 1 year. I mean, I don't know why.
He had to go through a lot of that first year, too. Also, the Josh Huff thing, Nigel Bradham on the bye week bringing a gun into the airport.
Yeah.
He went through a lot for a first-year head coach. Just the decision-making, when you look at some of the calls last year, Green Bay making a 2-yard challenge play, the Giants game, bad play calls, the Cowboys game, not taking a field goal to put you up by 10. Those are the things that may make you an 8-win team this year instead of being a 10-win team that gets into the playoffs.
And I wonder if maybe he was sort of thinking to himself about sort of where he perceived the team to be at that time in terms of a rebuilding process. They're saying, maybe we shouldn't be in a position to win every game because we've got a rookie quarterback. We're so young at offensive skill positions that we're not supposed to be as good as we were the first 3 weeks of the season. So I wonder if, I don't know, maybe that played into his mind a little bit where he's saying to himself, we are ahead of schedule, and I want us to be on the right schedule so that everybody hits the ground running at the same time. And maybe that was the intent for him in year one. And sure, I mean, look, everybody makes decisions that will backfire sometimes, but if the team goes 5-12 this year, I'm not ready to fire him.
Great stuff, John. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Zach.
There's Jon Mozes joining us on the Zach Gelb Show. We'll take a break here. 4:40 is the time outside of Arm & Hammer Park. We're coming on back. Right after this, we'll do a little Eagles, Giants, and Jets talk. We'll continue the conversation right here on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey.